Welcome members and guests to the Model Investment Club International. We are a better investing model club open to the public. Our meetings are held on the third Monday of each month at this time, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. The exception being December, when we meet on the second Monday of the month because of the holidays. All our meetings and stock studies are held online, allowing us to have members from around the world. Our current members are from the United States, Canada, and China. Guests, welcome, and as observers, you will be muted during the meeting. Opportunity for questions and comments once the meeting ends. We'd like you to note that any companies mentioned today are for educational purposes only and are not intended to be a recommendation for buying or selling any stocks. We ask that you conduct your own review and analysis of any company of interest before making an investment decision. And this meeting may mention products or services not endorsed by Better Investing or our club. The views expressed are those of our members and do not necessarily represent those of Better Investing. This meeting is also being recorded and will be posted to our YouTube channel for future use. Okay, and with that, is Matt here today?
No, I don't think so. I think he said he couldn't come, if I remember right.
Okay, I'm going to, oops, sorry. I had the agenda here somewhere. I don't have the agenda. I had the agenda. Let me, oh, sorry. Does someone have the agenda saved? Oh, wait, I know where it is. Okay, here we are. Can everyone see the agenda? So today we don't have an education topic, and we don't have any stock studies because we have a number of annual reports that we have to go through. We also have a couple of quarterly reports, and we'll start with the annual reports, and then we'll move on, if time permits, to the quarterly reports. We have annual reports, Facebook, Schwab, Comcast, and then Disney, Lamre, Skyworks as quarterlies.
Do you want the treasurer's report?
Yes, yeah, I was just going through. So Tom, if you could please give us the treasurer's report, and I will try to make you a presenter.
Okay.
Oh, okay, somebody did it already, I think. Oh, there you go. Okay.
Okay, can you all see my screen here? My iClub gain loss for the club?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So this is how much we've gained or lost on each of our holdings. And I apologize here. I've been derelict. I'm not sure. Like, did we sell 5 last month? I can't remember.
I think we did.
Okay, so I need to take 5 off of there. And did we sell?
I think we did, yeah.
Did we sell PSA also in the past? Or do we still hold PSA?
I believe we sold PSA.
Okay, so I will take them off of this. And did we make any purchases last month? I couldn't remember that we made any.
If you check my iClub, it'll show you what we voted on. So let's see, I will check that.
I'm on my iClub now.
Oh, you are? So if you look at the archived motions, it'll tell you. So
where you say under voting?
Yes, under voting, and you look at archived motions.
So we sold 5. Change. Well,
and then in November we sold PSA.
Okay. Hey, that's good to know. Thank you, because I tried to find the recording. I wasn't able to, and it might have been because it was under Model Investment Club rather than virtual or whatever. So okay, let's see. Here's our gain and loss that we have. One thing.
Can you go full screen with that?
You can also make a little bigger. Maybe the font a little bit is too small.
I
So you
can
can
see
just
it.
do Control Plus to make it
I can see it. I can see it just fine. It's big on my screen, but okay.
There you go. Better.
Okay, so this is the situation. Those are since the purchase dates. One thing, I have the portfolio here on Morningstar too. I don't know if you all can see this. I guess I can do Control Plus on this also. This is the stock, just the recent stock price changes. Like over the last 12 months, AQN and LRCX are up quite a bit. And then, Skyworks and Air Lease are down, Disney, and then the last 3 months, Canadian Solar is up 50%, if you can believe that. And so these are the recent price movements.
We bought Canadian Solar, right?
Yes.
Okay, and it's up 50%?
In the last 3 months, according to Morningstar.
Okay, all right. Sell.
Do you remember what price? Can we take a look at Canadian Solar? What price that we bought at? 20. Oh wait, that's price.
Well,
per share.
it's up 25%. It looks like the cost per share was $18.57.
Okay, right now it's about 23, 24. Okay.
So I guess maybe it went down and then came back up.
It did. It did went down to 14. I remember Megumi made a comment on that. Yes.
Yeah. So that's where we are with that. And I don't, I guess I can show the the diversification, but I don't know how, we pretty much know what we have. Let's see. We have, a lot of technology, and communications. 15, we've got about $9,000 cash. We'll have even more of that when I book those sales for PSA and 5. And then there's the breakdown for the industries, and then here's the breakdown for the companies.
Who's following BJ's?
I don't know.
I don't remember. We discussed about this. Just curious.
Okay, so does anybody have any questions, or is this can we move on, or what do we think?
Did you want to see the other report, Tom? The what's it called? Purchase.
The ones we sold.
Yeah,
yeah,
what was sold.
Sold securities.
Yes,
it's at
I
the
like
bottom.
that report.
It's at the bottom. Yeah, right there.
I hate to look at it. It makes me feel bad.
Okay.
Sold securities. So here's the recent, I guess, in the last year. So let me just go back. Go back a couple years, maybe. I guess, oh, too bad we can't sort these, but
yeah.
But anyway, Biogen bounced back from what we sold it at. They did submit that. They're in the process of submitting that aducanumab So we'll see what happens with that. Who even
Can you explain how to read this report? I don't understand it.
I can explain it.
Okay.
So for each security, take Bank of the Ozarks. Now, one issue with this report is that it says first purchased, and so if we make more than one purchase of the same stock, it just records the first purchase. So in Bank of the Ozarks, it was 5/16/2017 was the first time we purchased that stock. But you can see from the cost, we probably bought it twice because each time we buy $1,000. And then on September 17th, 2019, we sold it. And our total cost was $2,011.48, and we sold it for $1176.07. So we had a loss of 41%. Now, the next three columns are what happened to it since we sold it. So the value of Bank of the Ozarks went up by 0.7%. And by comparison, two ETFs that are used as benchmarks, the Vanguard Total Stock Market and the Vanguard 500, went up roughly 32% each. So Bank of the Ozarks did not keep up with those two benchmarks. So for each of the stocks, like Biogen is another one, we made a loss on it of 5.4%. And since we sold it, it's gone up 130% relative. So we should have kept that one. The same with BioVeritiv. And CVS Health didn't do very much, but so Intergis is a good one. We gained 36%, and but it went up 87% since we sold it. So what this is telling us, like that with the exception say of High Crush and LKQ. Like High Crush went down by 80% since we sold it, and LKQ went down by 1%. The rest of them, I think, we might have been better off to hold.
Fizz and PacWest, they went down.
PacWest. But look at
Pets.
Why
Pets.
did
Went up 75.
What's going on with pets?
Because what was that? There was another pet thing that came online. I forget, it was
I know, but
Chewy.
how come?
Chewy.
Yeah, Chewy. But how come went up to 176% if we kept it?
Does Pets own Chewy?
No.
No, Chewy is the competitor. Come out after we bought this Pets. Something going on there.
Well, okay. So
Actually,
what are our
this
lessons?
company lessons. Yeah, this company.
Yeah, what are the lessons from this?
Well, one lesson was that initially when we sold that, we thought when a competitor came up, we say, hey, we really did not do a deep research at that time. But now I look, the company only we had it for 4 months. Normally, we hold longer for another quarter, 2 quarters, if it's not any fraud issue or any other issues. If it's a fundamental 1 quarter, 2 quarter down, we usually hold a little bit longer, actually. So at the time, it went down because of a competitor, and then we decided to. So I felt like, yeah.
Yeah, the other one that I think is justified, even though it went up, is Tencent, because I was looking recently at some of the Chinese stocks, and in the SSG, the stock selection guide, they are habitually late in reporting. So, for example, like I can't remember if it was Tencent or another one, but they had. I just looked at it. It's February, and the last entry that they had was September. So even though they're traded on American exchanges, they just don't report on time, and it's very difficult to follow these guys.
That's a risk.
Yeah, but some of the other ones, I think, who would have guessed? I think the market just went up quite a bit, and we had some good reason to sell, but the market, you know.
Well, I guess you never can tell for sure. So
Yeah.
That, like you mentioned on 10 cent, like that's really is a red flag when they report late. That's not a good sign.
Mm-hmm.
well, we should probably move on in the interest of time, unless anybody has more questions.
Nope, you're right on time. So 6:15, time for the next agenda item, which I
Okay,
believe is the annual report for
Now,
Facebook.
do I need to
Yeah.
do something to give this away?
I can do it. I will give to Henny. Henny is presenting on behalf of Megumi. Right?
Okay, so yes, so Megumi is away on vacation in a nice spot, and she asked me to do Facebook for her. So, I'll start with the SSG, and actually I also think I have no. I'll start out with the report. So spoiler alert, this stock is doing. I think it's a buy. But the bottom line is that we already own quite a bit of it. I think 7%, Tom, if I'm not mistaken. So something like that.
I don't know. Let me see if I can.
I think it was, when I checked, it was about 7%. So regardless, it's like we bought it 3 times, and so even though the SSG is going to show a buy, I think we probably would want to look at something else, because we already own quite a bit of it. So we first purchased it. We purchased it 3 times, and the average. I did an average of all the prices, and $166.50 is the average price, and right now it's at 212.23. And the 52-week low, 52-week high, you can see here 159 and 224. So we're kind of near the 52-week high. The current PE is about 34.86. The 5-year average is 35.9. The low is 16, and the 5-year average high is 85. So again, we're kind of we're near the average 5-year average PE. So we're kind of like mid-range, and there's opportunity for PE expansion. And so revenue's been good. It went up from the previous quarter, and it went up from the previous year, double-digit growth. And again, you know, assets have gone up. The current ratio, assets divided by liability, has gone down a little bit, but I think that had to do with their probably with their they had a big regulatory fine levied against them of $5 billion, and they're spending a lot of money on security and privacy issues and so on. So I think that's probably why you know, some of their liabilities have gone up. Pretty good free cash flow. So the company is generating a lot of cash, and the growth rate is slowing a little bit. If I look at the SSG, let me just show you real quick. So if you look at the quarterly data, you could see the earnings are dropping like a rock, but I don't think that's cause for alarm. I think they were growing at a pretty good rate, and now they've become a huge company, and so you know, their costs are going up, and their growth is going to slow, but they're still generating a lot of cash, so that's a good thing. Oops, sorry, where's my apologies. So what I did here is I took a bunch of let me just read my notes because I forgot and I don't follow the stock. But so Value Line was projecting 21% sales growth and 17% earnings for the next 5 years. I used in doing the stock selection guide, I used 10% and then calculated. Sorry.
Mhm.
Oh, did you say something, Bernard, or is that just
Larger. Henry, I just don't know if you can, but if you can make it larger. But I don't
larger?
know.
Larger. Okay, sorry. Yeah. Let me see if I can.
Thank you.
How's that? Is that better? Okay. So I selected 10% sales just to be conservative instead of 21, and then using the preferred procedure, I lowered the pre-tax profit to 35% to reflect the increased costs from
That's much better.
Okay, from the regulatory scrutiny, and then reduce the shares outstanding to, so maybe what we should do is really look at the SSG. So, okay, so right here I use 10%, and then my computer is a little bit slow, apologies. Let me see. Okay, here we go. So 10%, and then I put pre-tax profit margin at 35. The preferred procedure default is 42% based on historical numbers here, the 5-year average. But I said that, you know, because of all the money they're spending on these regulatory issues, it might be down a bit. And then taxes I kept the same, and then I reduced the number of shares outstanding in 5 years because they are buying back shares. So that gives an annual compound earnings growth rate of about 10.7%, which is again less than the 17% that was mentioned in Value Line. And if you look at the second page, so I think I took this out, this 85 PE in 2015 as an outlier, and so the average is about 30.6, and the current PE is 33. And I said that, you know, just looking at these numbers, I used 33, and at 33. That gives a forecasted high price of $352.80. And I always, for my selected low price, I just take 20% of the current price. So I took 20% of 212 and got 170. And based on that, it's a 3.3 to 1. So it's risk reward, and so it's a buy. So the SSG looks good, but sorry, I have too many things open. But you know, I just think we own a lot of the stock. But I also did here looked at what the analysts were predicting. So Market Watch has 43 analysts, and next year they're projecting $10.91 of earnings, and next year's price target is $247. And then you can see here I used Value Line. They only have one analyst. CNBC 44, Morningstar 7 to 9 analysts, Yahoo Finance, Zacks, and the average is about $10 next year for earnings, and long term about $3 to $13, and the EPS growth about 21%. So my 10% that I did using the preferred procedure is half of what the analysts are projecting. So that's pretty conservative. And then the next year, the target price is 243, and right now it's closing in at, it's closed at I said 212. So pretty conservative numbers, right? But
Henny,
yes,
I have a
Hey,
question.
Where do you
How
get
did you,
those?
Henny, for your low price, you said you picked 20% of the current price, that you
yes,
always pick 20% of the current price?
yes.
I think you
Can
mean
you-
80%, right?
Oh.
20%
Oh,
decline.
I reduce it by 20%.
By 20%.
Sorry.
Why? It's not
Why?
part of the selections.
Um,
Because there's
Yeah,
like a
you can-
preferred procedure and then, isn't there?
okay, let me go
SSG, can you go to your SSG?
I believe in old, what was the tool that you, before this online tool, what was the other one, the name? Tom, you
Toolkit.
Toolkit. I
Toolkit.
remember used to people
Investors
always
Toolkit.
use,
Toolkit.
yeah, the low
Toolkit.
price, 20% of this. But for me, when I heard it and Henny said that, for me, that's fine, 20% of the current price. But I always compare with the 52 weeks low, with the historical low, just to see if this number is reasonable.
Yeah.
if-
Could you go to your selected forecasted low price selection box, the 170, click on that?
Sure.
It is at the high low price because 52 I noticed it was about 160. So if for me, I'm looking at this, say I may go lower. It's just want to make sure I play around number just to see if that makes sense.
Okay, and
Sure.
Hanny,
I'll
what
do that. I'll do
Oh.
that in a second. I just want to
Okay.
show you something else.
Okay.
Mm.
And can
So
I just share what
Another,
Roy had told me at one point, is that when you're doing an initial stock study, you base your estimates on a conservative, but then when you when you have the stock, you tend to evaluate it more with the
Optimistic.
optimistic
Mhm.
approach.
Right.
Mhm.
So you're kind of continuing to go based on the conservative.
yes, that is true. The other thing I wanted to show you here, and I'm just so if I do, this is a stock chart of Facebook.
where
Sorry, Bernard, I can't.
did you
you're
get all
cutting out.
those analyst reports, Haley?
I will get you that in a second. Just let me, while I'm on this, I will come back to that question. Give me 1 second. So the other thing, Joanne, is if you this is a 1 year, 1 year chart of Facebook, and I kind of looked at the chart and looked at where the price was, and this is 173 here. If you, sorry, I don't want a free trial, although I would like to get rid of these ads. The other thing you could do is like about 160, which Jay was suggesting. That's the lowest that it was for that year.
52 weeks, yeah.
Yeah, but that's like a huge drop from where it is now. So it's just, I mean, we'll certainly, I'll put that in and we can play with it for sure.
Why you're not looking at 5 years other than 1 year? I usually look the trend for 5 years.
Because things change dramatically over 5 years. So like if this stock went down to a 5-year low, because the business model changes, like within 5 years, the business model will have will have changed significantly, and the PE in 5 years is very different 5 years ago than what it is now, and you're looking at like $90 or $70 from 220, so that would be like catastrophic.
So for me, what I did, because for us, we are predicting predicting the next 5 years how the stock will do, right? We do look at
Yeah.
the 5 years, historical 5 years. So for me, when I look at the stock price, I look at the trend. You are correct. If you look at 5 years, you know, it could be very, very low. So for me, what I was looking at the trend overall and see like the graph you just showing, I see how did they do? You know, they actually pretty consistent going
Yeah.
up. And then suddenly there was something happen and would drop to 160, 170.
Yeah, this was
See, look overall, yeah.
This was 2018
2018, something happened.
when that big drop happened in the market.
Right.
But overall, they've been
Overall is trending up. So I
yeah.
don't count that 122 because that was a market drop. It's not because the company or something. So I look the trend. That's just how I do it.
Yeah. But so if you put 160, it's 2.7 to 1, right? But then you also have to say, okay, well, I've been pretty conservative here. You know, value line is saying 21% growth for sales, and you know, again, 20 something, I can't remember. Let me check here. Oops, sorry.
That's okay.
So value line was saying 21 sales growth and 17% earnings. So, you know, that's, I cut that back quite a bit. Bernard, to answer your question, where did I get all these from? If you go here, sorry, I keep jumping around.
Yes.
Bernard, if you go up here under research, endless estimates.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, Market Watch, Morningstar, NASDAQ, Yahoo, and Zacks. I typically skip, and then I do value line. I skip NASDAQ because if you read the fine print on NASDAQ, they get their data from Zacks. So these two are the same.
Duplicate.
But yeah, everybody else is different. So if you go to any of these, you'll get the number of analysts and the projecting the trends. So
Can I
anyways,
ask another question?
yeah,
About
absolutely.
that? So what happened to 2019?
But you got them all on one page. One page.
Oh no, I typed them in, Bernard. I did that in the report. Sorry, I keep going to the wrong thing. I just did this in the report. I made a table and I
Thanks,
copied.
Sandy. I just want to mention. So I just want to mention that some people different people look different things. I don't look so much at the chart. I'm looking like Facebook. I think is still a good way to advertise, and their business will expand in the future, as far as I can tell. That's what I look at. Is what I think their earnings are going to be.
I agree with you, Bernard, and I think they also own Instagram and WhatsApp, and they haven't really monetized those platforms. I think WhatsApp, they're trying to figure out how to make money out of it, but Instagram, they've started, there's a lot of advertising now on Instagram. And I was just going to say here, 26% of the world's population is on multiple Facebook platforms, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp. 26% of all people in the world, like they have over 2 billion users, and there's something like 3.5 billion people in the world have a smartphone with access to the internet. So a lot of people are accessing Facebook on their smartphones rather than, you know, from a desktop computer or what have you. So that's pretty huge. And then the other thing, I'll just finish this report very quickly and then I can take these questions. But their valuation right now relative to the industry and to the S&P is actually not bad. You know, depending on which metrics you look at, but they're they're reasonably priced. So it's a cheap stock. Their profitability is pretty good. Again, relative to industry and S&P. The only thing is their PE ratio is going down, and their price to sales is also going down, which means they're cheap, but their PE has gone down just because I think they've taken a bit of a hit recently on price because of these regulatory fines and some of the money that they said they're going to spend So in the short term, I think they'll suffer a bit, but long term, it's a pretty solid company. If we didn't own it, I would recommend that we buy it. And despite the fact that Matt hates Facebook, but so that's my
You're right.
report.
6.8% of our holdings are
Yeah.
Facebook.
I have a question about the debt. So what happened to 2010? Sorry, 2019, they had 10% of debt.
Sorry, Bernard, you're kind of like cutting out. Sorry, Jay, where did you see the debt here?
Yeah, 2019, what was that about?
2019. I'm guessing, I don't know, but I'm guessing that was that 5 billion fine that they had to pay for all that that election stuff, and but I don't know. I didn't look into that. I can certainly look at it, or better yet, I'll ask Megumi. It's her report.
So
Right.
But can I just, if you look at the free cash flow here, which I typically look at like this thing is just like a rocket going up. So that's pretty impressive, like, to have that kind of free cash flow. Sorry, Bernard, you said you were asking something.
I have a question.
Well, so
Okay.
what's the limit? If we have 6.8%, maybe we could. Well, we have a lot of cash. We have a lot of cash, but so maybe we could go up to like the 10%. I don't know what the rules are. I like it myself. I like Facebook, and I think it's a good investment.
Yeah, I would like, I think if you look at the makeup of our portfolio, we have a lot of very, very large companies like Facebook, Disney, Comcast, and we have a lot of large companies, and then we have some medium-sized companies. We don't have any small companies. So in terms of growth, I mean, we could, because Facebook is projected to grow at a fair clip once they get past this regulatory hurdle. But I think we should look at some small companies that are going to be fast growers, because our portfolio really could use some of those. We don't have any, and so it's not balanced right now.
Right. So what's this industry? Communication? Who is FB's competitor? Google?
Yeah, communication. So yeah, it's communication services, and depending on who you
Yeah, I don't remember who we compare. I think we compared it with Google.
competitors, like there's Tencent, there's Google,
Yeah, Google.
there's a few other ones, but
Yeah.
they don't
Yeah,
really.
There's Twitter.
I would think Google would be their biggest competitor as far as ad revenue.
Right. Oh, we did. When somebody presented at Facebook, we did look at Google. I remember now. Yeah, we did it. At the time, Tencent was even not in the picture.
Yeah. So I'm just cognizant of the time here. If we, so if somebody wants to make a motion later on to buy Facebook, we can certainly discuss that, but maybe we should just move on to the next one, which is John Catterson, Schwab.
Okay, I'm going to make John a presenter.
Okay, I'm going to close all these down.
Okay, can everyone hear me?
Yes.
I can.
Okay, great. So just before we get started, I wanted to ask Hanny, just so I could one answer. Who are we doing that whole mentor thing for these annual reports and quarterly reports, or is that an option available for someone if they want it? Is that what we decided? I can't remember.
Absolutely.
Yes. I
want that for next time. I want that for next time. Okay.
Okay.
So I'll go over this though, what I did for this meeting. they haven't released their 10K yet, as far as I can tell. I went to Edgar and tried to look for it and couldn't find it. Usually it's about the 22nd, 23rd, or 24th of February that their 10K comes out. And so I asked Matt if I should continue with this. He said yes, as long as the information is uploaded to the SSG, go ahead and do it. So I did the best I could. I didn't see much balance sheet information on there, on anywhere, and I don't know if it was in the SSG, but I did the best I could. So here's just the basics. We bought it for $4.16, and as of 2/9, it was $47.31. I'm not sure what it is today, but there's the low and the high. And current P back then on 2/9, 5-year average. So just filling in the numbers there, and most of this other stuff too. So current fourth quarter 2606. I got this from their release. I think they release results monthly, and they don't have a quarterly conference call, or I guess if it would be an annual conference call. They don't have a quarterly conference call where they have a transcript and stuff like that. They don't do that. It's kind of weird, but that's how they do it. So there's that, and this is, I forget how I gleaned this, but I was able to find this somewhere within their monthly release or within a financial website. But and free cash flow, I couldn't find these, but I couldn't find the current, because that's on the
No, you
cash
don't
flow
need the
statement
quarter.
typically.
Just do the year, I think. Fiscal
Okay.
year.
Yeah. Well, I couldn't find like I'm saying, for some of these statements I couldn't find them, and so I tried to dig for that cash flow statement or something, or at least get the information, if not the statement, the information. But I couldn't find the free cash flow for the most recent fiscal year, the most recent quarter. I was able to just, of course, pull the old stuff because that's old. But and then this thing. Okay, so historical sales growth rate 10-year 2.4. So it's quarterly was low, and as you'll see with SSG, once we look at that, it's been declining. Both sales and earnings over quarterly. The growth rate has been declining rather. I'm not sure about the actual raw number, but the growth rate's been declining for sure. And so last fiscal year, pre-tax profit on sales 45.1, up and down, which is good. We want all this stuff to go down. Although this one right here, debt to capital, I'm not sure about that, because let me look. They say there's no debt right now. I don't know if that's true. I just think that maybe they don't have the balance sheet figure of long-term debt to pull it in there. But maybe that's true, and they just got rid of all their debt. But
That's highly suspect to change that now.
Yeah, I think that's just the balance sheet. Once the 10 case rather comes out, they'll probably update that figure. That's what I'm surmising. But I didn't know what this was. If you read my report before just now, I thought this meant guidance from the company. You know how companies give guidance.
Yes.
And,
yes.
You can put that in. You can put that in as well, John. The guidance from the company as well as the analysts, and kind of just see, where the most important thing is the 5-year, and there's only a couple of sites that show the 5-year. I think Yahoo Finance and Zacks that show the 5-year growth rate for earnings, because that's what you're looking for to put in the SSG, and also value line.
Morningstar does it sometimes too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait,
well, I saw your report, Hanny, before, and I meant to do this more recently, but I did it just now. Pulled the stuff from the various websites that are available through the SSG and put some stuff in here. But So that's that. I didn't get any. I couldn't find any guidance from the company.
Not necessary. They may
Yeah,
not
they
say it.
don't.
They
Yeah, they don't
usually
always.
say it in their letter, annual letter to the stockholder, the shareholders. They will not
Yeah.
say in their 10K.
Okay. Well, yeah. Well, that's
Not necessary. They may not. They may say in
Sure.
their conference call or something. But yeah.
okay. So big
wait, I
stuff.
want to make sure I hear you correctly. You are saying that they have not filed 10K.
Right. Yeah. I could go to Edgar if you want. I should have pulled that up, but I can
But
show you the
if they
past
have
10
not
cases.
filed 10K, why do we want to give report right now?
Well, they've given their earnings for the year. They haven't given some of their balance sheet figures as far as I can tell, and they haven't given their their cash flow statement as far as I can tell. But they've
Okay,
given
hold
some
on.
of their earnings.
So you are saying the fourth quarter earnings, but they have not filed 10K.
Well, I think it was the full year earnings, but
Full year earnings.
now you're making me question that now. But I think it was the full
No,
year
I'm
earnings.
just asking if you find a 10K. You said that they have not.
No
10K is
10K,
not
no
ready.
10K. You can't find the 10K as far as I'm aware. I went to
Okay,
Edgar and looked for it.
If a 10K is not ready, we wait until 10K is ready to give reports.
Okay, great. All right, that's fine with me.
That's why we try to understand the comment. Okay, let me have a quick look. Go
Sure.
on. Yeah, sure.
You want me to continue or
I don't know. What do you say?
Might as well.
Yeah.
Like if you've
might
done,
as well. I mean, there's only a couple
if
more
you've
things
done
that
the
I
work.
have.
Yeah.
You can. We can do it next month too. That's fine. I like to have a mentor or help to do it next month too.
So I'm just looking at their website under investor relations, and the only the latest annual report is 2018. So it doesn't look like they've done their 2019 yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, anyway, I'll just Jay could go there while we're doing this, but while I finish this up. But so the
I
main
think you
thing that
should wait
happened that's a big.
You should wait because
Okay.
all your
I think you should-
guidance, all your information should based on the 2000. Yeah.
And
That
then-
information is incorrect.
And then they should have a call. Do they already have their call?
They don't do a call. I can show you that too. I can pull that up while you do something else, and I'll show you that they don't have a call.
They don't, or they do?
I don't believe annual
do not.
report you give a call. The call
No, they
is
can't.
they
Yeah, the
can't.
call is after.
After.
They can't.
Yeah.
They have to
So
release the report, then they do the call. So
right.
yeah. So
I
yeah,
think we should reschedule his annual report. And then John, we can help you.
Right.
So
Yeah,
like
I
some
definitely
of those
appreciate
issues that you
Right.
had with finding the information, we could definitely help you with that.
Right.
Yeah.
I actually texted John. Probably he missed my text.
Okay. So do you mind
Mhm.
doing
SEC
it next
filing.
month?
Stop. SEC filing. You passed. Go here.
Yeah, I know, but okay. I'll
No,
go
just
over that, but
take a look. They are historically. This is not SEC. Oh wait, hold on. Sorry, let's just go to the SEC
They-
Gov. So just look at the trend. So when they usually file, that's another thing. I'm just go to the website sec.ca, sec.gov.
see right here.
Oh,
So the
it's
conference
here.
call
Sorry.
portion right here. If you can see my mouse, I can't select anything, but here we go.
Quarterly. They
So earnings
don't.
release,
Are you talking
maybe
about
annual
fourth
release.
quarter? No, they don't give fourth quarter. They're not necessary. Doing the first quarter release. No,
Okay.
you're looking at quarterly earning report. We are talking about 10K, which is the 10K is the annual report.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, you're looking at 10Q. Q is a quarter.
Right. Yeah, I know. It's
Oh,
just
okay.
that the 10K is not. It'll be out in a couple weeks, or a week and a half or so.
Yeah. So this one should be. So what we did is so that means also we need to tell Matt that you need to update the calendar. You know, for each report when it's due.
yeah. Okay.
And
Well,
you
typically,
you can see the trend when they usually available.
So
So
typically
late
the person.
February. Yeah.
And John, you'll also, once that annual report gets issued, then you'll also be able to read the analyst reports based on the 10K.
Oh,
So there'll be a lot more information.
Okay, guys,
Okay.
can we let's move on to Comcast.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that probably why you cannot find any because it's not there.
Yeah. Okay. Can I ask you guys to all mute and then Bernard, please?
Thank you, honey.
Oh, who do I give the presenter to? Bernard?
Bernard.
Okay. Okay. Bernard, I'm going to make you a presenter, okay?
I don't know if I can. Okay. Okay, so then I just happen to be on the, oh wow. So here is the stock selection guide, which I've redone. Please close the confidential windows. Well,
Just a
I don't
second,
know what
Bernard, can you please
they're
accept
talking about.
on
I'm
your
not seeing
screen?
it.
On your screen, you need to, first of all, accept the
It's-
invite to be the presenter.
Oh, okay. And I see up here, I got show stopped. No one sees my screen. Oh, show my screen.
Yes, click that. There you go.
Okay.
We can see now. Okay.
All
There we
right,
go.
great. Thank you. Thank you, Jay. And so I'm going to scroll through here. Here we have the stock selection guide. We can see, oh, it's not, wait, let me try this. I can't bring oh, it's scrolling. Okay. All right, so here's the stock selection guide. Oh, damn it. When I push a button, it goes 5 or 6 spaces. Oh, and now it's going better. So here we go. Okay, here we have, it will go to the top.
Bernard,
Bernard,
It's
maybe,
the stock selection guide.
version?
okay, hold on. Bernard, just use there's a bar on the right-hand side. Maybe just use that. Put your mouse on the bar, the gray bar on the right-hand side, on the very right, the very edge of your screen. There's
Okay,
there's
I'm going to control my,
Move your mouse over
I'm
to
looking, but I don't have that.
I can see it.
Oh,
Just
okay, wait.
move your mouse. Move your mouse
Oh,
straight
yeah,
up.
here it is. You're right. It's,
There you go.
Yeah.
Grab that bar
Thanks,
and drag
Tom.
it up and down.
Okay.
Click
Boy,
on it
it's
and then move it up and
small.
down.
And then okay, click on it. But then I lose it. I'm gonna do control minus. Maybe I make the thing small. No, it doesn't work. Okay. Well, I can, but here anyhow I can.
Okay, hold on a second.
Oh,
Bernard, did you post your study, right? You have it on the drive, on our Google Drive?
I just looked. He did it.
Yeah.
Did
Oh.
he email us? I think he emailed to us.
well, no,
Did he?
Matt emailed it. Matt emailed it to us.
Okay,
yeah.
Jay,
so let's
Jay,
import.
why don't you put it up? Jay, why don't you put it up
Okay.
and then Bernard can talk to it? That way you
Okay,
can.
hold on.
yeah.
I need to. Okay. Okay. He
Oh,
did.
thank you.
It's okay.
There
Sure.
should be a link in the agenda.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah.
It's okay. Just a second. Sorry, I'm just downloading. Is that on the I'm trying to figure out it's okay. So I will make myself a presenter.
Okay.
Okay.
But I was okay. Good.
So hold on. I make myself a presenter first.
Yeah, it looks like Bernard's still the presenter.
Okay. Do you want to go over the report first, Bernard? Am I losing you?
We can do either one, Jay.
Okay.
If we
on
have
my
the stock
screen right now.
selection,
Okay,
I was
on my
going to
screen.
I was going to start with that, but we can do the report.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead. I have a report on right now.
Yes.
Go ahead, Bernard.
Okay. And oh yeah. The what we can see here, like the PEs, the current P is about 15, and the average PE is about 14 for 5 years. So it's right in the normal range. I think that's part of why it comes out to be a hold. But the revenue growth, hard for me to see these. No, I'm sorry. Okay, revenue growth is about 15% a year. And last year was 11%, but this year the revenue growth was 15%. And now the current ratio, I'm not sure I got that right. I got 8 for this year, but they have been paying down a lot of debt, and 0.8 for last year. And I have to refigure that. I've been waiting, trying to get the annual report, and I can really have good numbers. I don't always too good online. And but in general, I think this company is going along. As I read, they are paying down their debt, and they're trying to pay it down. They still have a lot of debt, and they continue to be profitable. And their sales and earnings continue to go up, and it's in the moderate range. I think it's old. That's what, in very brief terms. Be glad to answer questions if I can. I've
Do you
watched the
want to,
company quite a
Bernard?
bit.
Jay,
I can show you another thing. I can show you the report. Yeah, let me show you. I'll show you their 12 pages of their report that they gave with their earnings call.
So what do we,
Let's see it.
how do we handle this? So basically, we are
Well, you'd have to
looking
make
at
me a presenter
your
again,
sales.
and then
So
I can show you the comp.
We are looking.
Jay, maybe you should just go to the SSG.
Yes.
Okay, go to
Yeah.
SSG. The SSG is a PDF though.
We look
It's not live.
No, just go to you can do live.
Yes.
Oh, okay, sure. Do you mind, Bernard, I go live? Bernard? Just,
Well, go
okay.
ahead. That's wonderful, Jay. Go ahead. You can see it now, and maybe.
Okay, sorry, I
Yes.
closed my
So we
windows.
can.
I'll be very quick.
As
Sorry.
Okay, well, as I can. Okay.
Frustration, isn't it? Hold on. Just hang on for a second, Bernard. I can open the Schwab.
Well, now,
Just a second. Oops, sorry.
oh, wait. Okay.
I'm not sure if I have a Schwab, so I'm going to just do a new.
It's Comcast, isn't it?
Oh, Comcast. Sorry, not Schwab. What am I talking about? Comcast. I'm sorry. What's the code? CAM?
CMCSA.
Got it.
There you go.
EMSA.
There you go. So I have on
CMC,
June
yeah.
14th. I'm just going to open a new one because I had a very old. I have June 2018. So what was the forecast?
I
Was
think
it
he had about 10%.
10%? Let me look.
Well,
Says future sales is
yeah,
9.8 and
10,
Okay,
10,
9.
11, something like. Oh,
9? Okay,
9.8, yeah. 9.
9. Okay. And then future earnings is 15?
oh, Jesus.
Okay. Bernard, you're cutting out.
It didn't print good either.
What did you say, Bernard? You're
Jeez.
cutting out.
Oh, no, okay, okay, well, when I did this, first of all, I usually do them in the core mode, and then at the last minute, I'm not used to this here mode of doing a stock selection guy. I usually do the
Right.
mode. It's because
Yeah,
it's
I
one
know,
step
you're
at a
doing
time,
core.
and I'm kind of a simple guy, and I get confused.
That's okay. You just give us the number so
But,
we can look at it on the page.
Here's how I picked it. Okay, well, I'll try to tell you how I do. I look at history, what they've been doing, and then I go to the resources under Better Investing, and I print out the opinions of all the better investors that have recently looked at it. You know, you can go up to references from Better Investing investors. I print that out and I look and try to average it, but then also take my own figures. I use that, and plus the history of what they've been doing in the past. And that's how I figure sales and earnings.
Okay.
And I'm not sure about the numbers that I got right now. It's not coming to me that. I'd have to go maybe to my SSG, the original one.
You did. So look here.
And I printed it, but my printer didn't work.
Your estimated future sales
I did
is 9% here, and your future earnings, you said the 15%. Okay. So let's take a look at the next page then. You give high PE is 15. Okay. So I'm going to next page. Okay, guys. So
All right, sure.
Bernard give high PE is a 15, and then what's low PE he's giving? Low
I think it's about 12,
PE,
if I remember right.
12.2. So you took an average, look like?
Oh, I just round off because we're approximating. So
Approximating?
if they say 12.2, I'd say 12. That's the
Okay.
best. I mean, yeah.
Okay.
That's
So 34. So if I take the Hanny's guidance, 46, so 20%. So it will be what? 30, 34? Just about, yeah.
36.8, say 37.
37?
It
So if
didn't.
you use your guidance, right? So, okay.
But 34 is fine.
Yeah, 34 is fine. So what else, Bernard?
Well, okay, so it comes out to be actually even a buy.
Right.
But
How do you like
buy
this
or a
company?
hold.
What do they do?
What I did send the, you know, well, I have a kind of a personal relation. This is irrelevant, but it's part of it. How I think that I have a personal relationship because I've watched their television channels off and on for years, like CNBC. I still watch CNBC from time to time to get stock market information, and MSNBC, the political DNC info, and there are other. Well, I have, but so I use their TV quite a bit, and they're and I used to be a Comcast customer when I was downtown. Now we can't get cable. I think it's continued. They're having a problem in that people cut the cord about 3% a year. But on the other hand, when people cut the cord from Comcast, they often stay with Comcast because they can get faster internet that way, even if they don't use cable TV. The Comcast cable internet is I think is about 100 mg a second, whereas if you're doing like I have to do out in the country, I get dish TV or dish cable, dish internet, and it's like 15 megabytes a second. It's very slow. I have a problem doing anything. So anyhow, I think Comcast is definitely a hold at least. That's what
You
I
are
would
saying
think.
they are paying off the debt? Let's
Go
take
ahead.
a look.
Go
I
ahead.
thought they just said the debt. Why do you say they are paying off the debt? The debt? Yeah, 5% less compared to last year.
Empirically, Yeah, we can look right here in the stock selection guide and see that. I don't have that right this minute, but
I know, but you say in
I
your report,
believe
you
it.
said
Yes.
that they are paying off the debt. Why do you say that? You say they are paying off debt. But looking at their debt, but they are not, right? I'm just curious.
Okay, well, say that,
So they are not paying off the
I
debt.
think I must, hopefully I would have looked at the stock selection guide. There's a part there.
Right. Another
Well,
part
I've recently gotten emails from them about the debt payments they're making.
they made a
Okay,
debt
well,
payment. Okay,
regardless, I
Parts
think
trouble with the balance sheet and some of that stuff.
that's okay.
I
So
think
another
it's
part that you are missing, pre-tax profit return equity. So we can just take a look at here. We'll see,
It's not a,
we know that they are going down, basically. So for your annual report, this part, evaluation here, those are just from the SSG, straight from here. 5 years average trend and,
yes.
2019. Just for your future information. Henny, you had a comment.
I was just going to say if it's a hold, let's move on to the next report.
Mm.
Uh,
Who's on next?
just give me a second. I will tell you.
Disney.
So Disney, Matt's not here.
Not here.
Tom, Lam Research. Is it Lam, LRCX?
I think it's Lam Research. Oh, Tom has two, Lam Research and Skyworks.
LRCX is Lam Research.
Okay.
Tom really want to sell that company, did you, Tom? You mentioned this a couple
Well,
times.
we can take a look. It's priced awfully high, and it's if I raise the
I'll make you presenter.
The low price, I guess it might look a little better, but okay, so let's see here. Here's my stock selection guide for Lam Research. Now I projected, I think, reasonable long-term growth rates. The semiconductor business is better than it was. Memory prices seem to be coming back a little bit, and they also sold some more equipment to what they call foundry companies. This Taiwan Semiconductor bought some, and also the big memory companies is Micron and Samsung, but they also sold some to Taiwan. Foundry is people who makes chips for other people, processors and other things, and also they sold a bunch to Intel. They have quite a bit of exposure to China, which I don't know what's in with this coronavirus business. People seem to be concerned for about 5 minutes, and now they don't seem to be worrying about it too much for economically, even though the cases keep going up and up and the people aren't going back to work. So I think long term, it has to affect the businesses in China if nobody's there at work. I can't see any way around that. But anyway, that's the stock prices have not gone down that much. As far as valuation and return, now the stock has just gone crazy this year. It's up to $339, a high of 344. The low this year was 163. And so I didn't. I guess do people want me to make this bigger? So anyway, I have a selected, using the projected earnings and the PE. The current PE is 25. the average historical PE is 14. So I mean, the PE is really high. It's higher than it's been, over the last 5 years. The highest one up here is 2015. So now if we do our 80% trick, it's going to raise the upside downside ratio. So what's 339 times 0.8? That's about 271. Whoops, that didn't work. Why did? Oh, maybe I need to do an F5 to refresh this darn program. I don't know. It's the only program that I have. You have to keep refreshing to work it.
I think also you can only put so many decimal places, like one, I think, or something.
Well, I put in a whole number there.
Oh yeah, okay.
I think it needs to be refreshed was the problem. Okay, so now we've got our 271 down here, but that raised the upside downside ratio to 1.1, and potential appreciation is 22%. But I just wonder how much higher it can go. But I mean, last month I think it was maybe like 275 or something like that, and I would have recommended selling it then, and now it's up to 340. So that shows how much I know. But
can we take a look at the fundamental? Like a question like this, I always look at the management. So I always look at the fundamentals. So why do we want to sell? What? So
valuation.
Yeah, evaluation. Pre-tax profit is going up. Return equity is going up. The debt is.
Tom, sorry, Jay, one sec. Tom, if you put the, I'm just looking at the chart, and the lowest price was in recent history was December 2018. It was about 125. If you put 125 on your SSG, what happens?
Oh, as far as the low price?
Yeah, as far as the
I
low,
think a 270 is too high, in my opinion.
Yeah, because this thing has been just going up. I mean, it's parabolic. It's just,
so the recent low market price is 122. I'll just click that.
Just select that one. Yeah. There, it's a hold.
So if it goes back down, that's a pretty significant drop, like $300 on a $400 stock. That's crazy. But I think you're right, Jay. It's like, just look at the fundamentals. Is anything wrong with it? And
yeah, look at the management. What's their plan and what's
it's going. Their sales are growing, but you're just looking at the PE ratio. I mean, like their average PE ratio has been like 15, and the PE is 25 now.
How much do we own of this stock? Is it how many shares, or like, did we buy it once or did we buy it multiple times?
Okay, let me see here.
4%. We
Yeah,
have 4%.
Yeah, 4%.
We bought it one time. It's a mid-sized company.
Yeah, like if we had more, I would say sell half and keep half. But if there's no fundamental reason to sell it,
yeah. Tom, can I ask a question? 2018, 2019, what happened there? Why their sales earnings drop? Not earnings didn't, but kind of sales and pre-tax. What happened? Do you remember?
Well, the company, their main business is in memory chips, and memory chip prices went down quite a bit. So
there was an oversupply, I think, of memory chips.
There was an oversupply, so memory chip prices went down, and their customers, that they sell equipment to make these chips. So their customers didn't buy more equipment because their businesses weren't good. So, you know, like Micron and Samsung pulled back on their expansion, or, you know, just to stop buying equipment. So, so that's where their business went down.
But you can see that their earnings were pretty solid. They continued to go up despite the drop. So that's
We don't know what happened. They may cut
Well,
off
you
their
know,
employees. They may lay
that
people off to keep the earnings up. We
this
don't know.
2008.
That's,
This is, I
yeah.
don't know. Looks kind of like an.
Excuse me.
Tom,
Well,
can
they
you
they had
can you
had a great year in 2018, but anyway, or has
can you click on, sorry, can you just go back to the first page again? Can you click on the free cash flow onto the right? It's grayed out, but yeah, see, their free cash flow is pretty solid. Like if you take out the remove the EPS and the pre-tax profit, just so you can see the free cash flow is,
Jay,
you know.
interesting. Free cash flow
Jay,
the last couple
Bernard
quarters.
is saying he's muted by the organizer. FYI, he's trying to be unmuted.
Oh, okay.
So sorry.
Okay. Sorry.
Okay, can I just say we're at 7:15 and it's time for discussion and voting of possible buys or sells.
Okay. Do we want to do the last one?
Well,
Want to take a quick
Very
look at
quick.
Skyward?
Wait,
okay.
hold on. This is just
It-
a quarterly, right? It's not
Yeah,
annual.
for
Yeah,
quarterly,
it's a
if they're
quarterly.
holds,
Okay.
we don't usually review them.
Not necessary. Yeah. If it's
So
not.
I don't know, we can weigh, is there something that we need to discuss regarding buys and sells, or I mean, if there's somebody that wants to make a motion, or else we can stick with the discussion of Skyworks.
I feel like there's nothing to buy right now. Based on
Okay,
today's
may wanna-
presentation, based on today's
Want to make a
presentation.
motion?
Well,
Okay.
except possibly Facebook, there was
Facebook.
some
Yeah, Bernard may want to make a motion if they buy
there's some
Facebook.
interest in buying Facebook.
My understanding with the percentage of shares for a single stock is that it shouldn't be more than 15%. And what are we at with Facebook?
Let's take
6%?
a look, Tom, since you
6.8.
have the
Sorry,
have
just-
the
6.8.
Is it 15, Joanne, or 5?
5?
it cannot be 5.
That would, yeah,
It
5
cannot
would
be
mean we would have to have 20 stocks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you
Well,
need these
we're
20 stocks,
approaching that. We have a lot. I don't know how many we got here, but we got quite a
Facebook
few.
about 7%. It's not a lot.
Okay.
Okay, I also have a question about, is it better to have our money invested in a stock or having it in cash?
Well,
No.
personally, I would like to invest, even in my personal portfolio, same thing. But we need to know what to invest. Based on today's presentation, except the Facebook is in a buy, but we already have 7%. We already sold prior, right? So obviously you could have a motion to buy Facebook, but you already have a large percentage of a Facebook. Let's
Well,
see.
you know, we have
Yeah.
cash.
Well, I would make a motion that we buy a little bit.
Yeah, we have the cash,
It's
and
definitely that cash is
we
cash
have
is
cash.
inferior to an investment. Everybody knows that. And
Oh.
Warren Buffett always points out that cash doesn't pay anything. So
Warren
I've heard
Buffett has
Warren Buffett
120
say
billion
that.
in cash right now.
If the market,
Henny, I have a question about Facebook.
Hmm.
Did you say about it? Did you
Thank
present
you.
the guidance? Because I don't remember. Did they give a guidance for next year, Facebook?
The guidance that I saw was that they were going to have some increased costs due to meeting some of these regulatory requirements that are going to be imposed on them. So their earnings were going to go down for next year, but after that they expect things to go back to normal. So I think long term it's a pretty good company. They're generating a lot of like, think about it, they have 2 billion daily users. I mean, that's like 60% of the people that own smartphones on the planet, right? And they haven't even started to monetize WhatsApp yet. And Instagram
Yeah.
is just starting, right? So I think there's a lot of opportunity going forward. I think this is like a pretty solid company. And the fact that they've got Instagram, Facebook, and WhatsApp, they're kind of covering the different generations. So older people like to use Facebook, younger kids use Instagram. You know, so I think they have a solid business model going forward.
Also, I heard Zach, I think they are going to work on online payment.
Yeah.
For example, in China, you know, everywhere, even smallest vendor, you can find street vendor, they can take an online payment using Tencent. So I heard on news somewhere recently that I think Mark Zuckerberg is working on that.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, there's a lot of advertising on Facebook now. A lot of companies are using Facebook for advertising, so they're definitely, you know, monetizing these platforms. And
I
I
think especially for small companies that, you know, used to you buy ads, now, you know, you can, I'm using Facebook to run small business, so it's a cheaper way of advertising, doing
yeah,
marketing, I would say.
yeah. So I think, like, if we wanted to buy it, we have like $8,000, right? So if we wanted to buy smaller companies, we certainly could do that. We'll need to do a stock study, of course, but and I think Bernard, you and I and Mina are slated to do a stock study next month. So, you know, we could certainly buy it, and then we'll still have enough to, you know, to look at buying some small companies and
Is
still have
Tom not
cash.
Yeah,
in the group next?
I'll
Yeah,
go.
No,
Tom just did
we
one last month.
we kicked
I
That
won't,
was a
him.
I won't be
mistake.
able to come to the meeting next
Okay,
month.
all right,
We
because
kicked him
I'm
out. We
looking
kicked
at
him out.
the Matt's list. I'll take Tom off.
Yeah, that was a
And when,
mistake. It shouldn't be Tom. Tom
Also,
just did one. Yeah.
can I tell you, we have 6 annual reports next time, so I'm not sure, do we have
Yeah.
time to do a stock study? We probably should have done a stock study this month.
Mm, right.
Are you citing my report as well? Schwab?
Oh, and you're
Yeah.
adding, the
Sure.
Schwab.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Apparently
so there'll
some
be 7
calendars need
annual.
updated. Yes.
and
So,
and and we'll you know, we'll have $2,000 more cash when I book the sales of PSA and 5, which I was derelict in doing. So
Tom, is a Skywork is a buy?
it's same situation as Lamb. It's got it's a price has almost doubled in the last year or so, and the PE is really high. They're facing you know, they're building back up their sales. Their Huawei was about 10% of their sales, and now, you know, they can't do business with Huawei because of the Chinese trade business. You know, 5G is kind of a gleam in people's eyes. You know, it isn't built out. People are talking about all these devices, but, you know, what's the point in having a 5G device if you can't take advantage of the network, which hasn't been built yet? So, but, you know, eventually it'll probably be okay, but, you know, it might just, the earnings might just grow into the PE, you know, that's, you know, it's still, you know, Skyworks and Lam are both, a lot of the semiconductor stocks are trading at really high PEs now.
Are these two?
I would like to make a motion to buy $1,000 of Facebook.
Okay, so vote on my iClub.
Second,
Well, I'll make the motion. Bernard is
Okay.
going to second.
Okay.
I'll do it on my iClub, and
Yeah.
you'll get an email shortly.
So we go to my iClub then.
You could just,
Yeah,
or
or
wait
you
for
get
the
an email.
Go to voting. Now,
So,
is my screen still up?
whose screen is this? Let me look. Oh, that's Tom's
So
screen, I think.
on that motion, this is a question. It relates to the motion. How many is there a cap on how many companies we can own?
No.
Because
Well, from
Because,
from a practical perspective, yes. Like
yeah,
we,
yeah.
you know, like if you have about two per person to follow those companies, then that's probably the limit.
We also have 2 hours per meeting. So if there's 7 annual reports, and then if there's buys and sells on quarterly reports, you know, it could dominate a couple meetings a year. So just saying.
Yeah.
I agree
We have a ton of
with that.
we have a ton
Right.
of stocks, you know, ton of companies.
Okay,
So-
Tom, do you want to wait to vote? I'll vote and then I'll change it to my screen and then you can vote.
Okay.
Okay, so just
No.
hold, just keep,
No, I'm not seeing. Okay, it's up here.
yeah, just wait till I vote and then I'll switch it to my
Okay.
screen.
Okay.
Tom, another question is, for the company, what I was going to say. Okay, the customers, are they primary
Lamb or Skyworks?
both? Both. Okay, let's
Okay.
talk one at a time. Lam Research, who are their primary customers? Where are they located?
Lamb Research sells equipment to major semiconductor manufacturers. They're
Like Intel.
two biggest, well, and a little bit the Intel. Their two biggest customers are Micron and Samsung because
Okay.
they have more memory chip businesses, but they
Okay.
also sell some to Taiwan Semiconductor, some to Intel, some to, you know, I don't know who else makes semiconductors, but you know, to big players.
Okay, so
Apple.
one's in Korea, one is Acron. I don't know that company. Is a US company?
Micron.
Acron?
Micron is US. It's
Micron.
huge. Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
I don't know where, you know, Lam Research is, I think it's a U.S. company, but they sell, you know, Asia is their big market because that's where the semiconductor industry is. Intel has fab plants in the United States, but everybody
They're also
else
in
is
China too.
Asia.
The reason why I'm asking is because of coronavirus, you are correct. It could have impact. For example, today's news, Apple said it won't meet their quarterly revenue guidance because the coronavirus constrained iPhone supply demand for its products.
Right,
So this
but
could happen to these two companies too. So maybe it's time to buy. I don't know.
time to buy or time to sell?
Time to buy because the price will drop.
Well, but
Yeah,
they're already at a
yeah,
high.
these
They're
two
already at a high
companies is
price.
two solid, strong fundamental companies.
I would wait for a pullback, Jay.
Yeah,
I think
wait,
that
yeah, not
if
right now.
we-
That's why I
Yeah.
said predict. I predict the
Yeah.
price drop. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's the time to buy it, but I would just wait for something to happen because everything is at an all-time high right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Hanny, do you have the results?
Let me check if everyone voted.
Hey, Haney, I didn't receive the email.
And
Oh, Mina's
Apple.
here. Mina's quiet.
Oh, Jay,
Yeah,
you were
sorry, I
asking about
snuck in a little bit, about 15 minutes late
Oh.
there. So
Jay.
Oh, yes, Tom.
Jay, you were asking about customers. Apple is a Skyworks' biggest customer. About I think close to half their business is Apple.
Yeah. What's the other? Used to was Apple and also what was the other company?
Well, Huawei was 10, but you know the other people, the people who make cell phones. Samsung is of course a big
Samsung.
one, and then there's I can't remember who, you know, the other Chinese cell phone makers.
There are a couple.
Okay.
I can't think of the name.
Sorry. So people that have not voted are Matt, Jane, Bernard, Mina, Megumi. So Megumi and John Dennis. Megumi
I'm
is
not able
here.
to. I can't log in for some reason, so I voted in the chat
I
box.
tried to vote. I tried to. My club.
Yep, sorry. I also didn't receive the email. I thought you said there was an email that was going to go out, or should I log into iClub separately?
No, I just sent an email reminder to everyone who hasn't voted, but it's easier if you just log into
Okay.
my club.
Perfect. Club.
So, oh,
While we're waiting, can we discuss?
I don't,
Okay, Bernard, I'm assuming since you seconded the motion that you're voting yes, and John,
He sent a
I could,
chat
I would
message.
vote yes. I would vote yes, but I can't. Okay, yes.
Hanny, can I also just vote orally with you now? I'll vote yes as well, just until I can find my
Sure.
login information.
Yeah.
Okay, so based on that, I think that the motion is passed. We'll buy $1,000 of Facebook.
Okay.
Okay, can we talk about next month real quick?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so I brought up the stock studies, annual reports, and the
Yes.
quarterly reports. Jay, I have you with the Canadian Solar for this month for the annual report. Does that get pushed to next month?
Yes, I
Okay,
just
so we're
explained it.
going to
Yeah.
have 8 annual reports next month. Hanny, I think we should push your stock study.
Okay.
Actually, we probably will just not have it because
You can push to May because May have a bunch of quarters. Well, it all depends on their,
yeah,
you know.
yeah. Why don't I do that? I'll put you
So
in
I think
May.
I think we need to just offline
Okay.
look at the calendar for the year, and because I've made this recommendation last time as well, but we really need to look at the calendar and then figure out how many stock studies we're going to do in the year and how many education topics, because as a model club, if we spend all our time looking at the portfolio, that kind of defeats the purpose of the education and the stock studies.
I think, and that was John's point, is that
Yeah.
we have so many stocks. We're spending all our time doing the review. So we might want to talk offline about maybe cutting back. I don't know how we manage
need
that.
to do something, but
Okay.
yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Hey,
Sounds good.
So we'll.
Joanne, the
Yes.
report schedule is correct.
I want to
It's
say
just
something.
because the swap with Jane. Can you just reverse? February should be a CSIQ in February.
Right.
Only
But I'm
because
just,
Jane,
yeah,
I
I'm
just
just,
hope that in the future that next time when people make a copy,
Okay. Can
okay,
guys?
we'll talk about that
Can we
offline.
talk
Yes.
about
okay.
that
Yes.
offline?
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like to stop the recording and get comments from our guests. So I'm gonna do that. Let me